everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I am here with the amazing Anna Taylor. Now, Anna Taylor is the CEO of an amazing charity called Autism Matters. She's also got her own business too called Transformation Matters, and they're quite closely interlinked. I'm just going to hand you over to Anna now to give you a little bit more information about who she is and what she does. Over to you.
Oh, thank you, Natasha. That's a lovely introduction. So I am Anna Taylor, and I am absolutely passionate about autism. My two oldest boys are autistic, and so my life has been kind of dedicated to helping them and supporting them. And as part of that dedication, there were so few organisations doing anything to support adults, and as they came to adulthood, I thought, well, if no one's doing it, I'm going to do that. So I set up Autism Matters as a charity to support autistic adults, and it is not like work for me because I absolutely love what I do. And as part of that journey, it has grown and grown and grown. And in the last year, it's skyrocketed. And the reason that's happened is because of the courses I've done with you. I've set up my own business, and we've interlinked that with the charity because there's just so much work to do in this area. And I've now become a heart healing level 1 practitioner too. So I'm really excited about the future. On Saturday, I turned 55. So, you know, life can begin at 50.
I'm at 55, I'll be very happy with that. A lot there, and I also have a close family member who has autism, and I saw that very same thing happening when she turned 18. It was just almost like, you're off in the world on your own now, and there's nothing really to help you. I think what you do is so important. And so needed in the world. So thank you for setting that. So you shared a little bit about both of the businesses and how you've seen shifts happening, especially in the last year since you've been working with me. And the main work that you've done with me is obviously through the Uplevel Academy, which you were in for 6 months. And just for anyone watching, what sort of things made you decide I need this? What was going on to make you think I need to work on this, and the Ultimate Uplevel Academy was the right thing for you?
Yeah, I think I'd been watching you online for a while because I'd started as the course on RTT, so I did that and wasn't kind of really into that. In lots of ways, it's difficult to explain, but I was feeling stuck with that. I'd sort of set up a little business, and I'd had massive weight loss on my own journey and wanted to do that. And so it was a real diversion from what I was doing. And I was watching you online and how successful you were. And I'd bought a couple of the very, the cheaper courses because I was, you know, like you do, you kind of test the water a little bit. Yeah, and I loved them. I thought they were fantastic. There was ending emotional eating, and there was a cash flow one I did, and I just thought, wow, there's so much more to learn around here. And when we went into lockdown, I had time to reflect on what I was doing, and I wasn't happy with where I was. I was feeling really stuck. I'd had some real issues in the past with a past employer, was made redundant. And I was really frightened to go out there and be seen with what I was doing. So the charity that I'm still in and I was running was really successful. It was doing great, but I didn't do any advertising at all. So it was all organic, people just, you know, hearing word of mouth, no advertising at all. So there was a definite need there. You know, the need was coming without having to do anything. But I knew I wanted to impact more lives, and I knew this visibility more than anything, fear, was holding me back. I mean, really holding me back. I didn't even talk about who I was behind the charity. No one knew my story. No one knew who ran that charity. And that was, you know, my story was so important because I have 2 autistic adults who are using the services, and my journey through that is why the whole charity is there for in the first place. So it was silly me holding myself back in that way. But I just couldn't overcome that fear. I didn't know why. I mean, obviously the redundancy and that had impacted on it, but really there was more deep-seated areas, you know, things from my past that I really needed to go back into. And as I'd been watching you, as I knew how you were really impacting people's lives, and that's my goal, to impact people's lives. It wasn't a financial goal at all. It was about increasing our services and making sure that we could catch more people and help them. And as we went into lockdown, that was even more important because all the services had to stop everywhere. So people who had had a little bit of support were getting none at all. And, you know, instantly the messages and the texts I was getting about mental health and, you know, what can we do with this? I had to do something. And so when the ultimate Uplevel came along, it was a no-brainer for me. I just thought, I've done a couple of small things with you that work dramatically. I really have to sign up for this. I didn't know how I was going to pay for it. I just thought, right, I've got to do this. This is going to be life-changing, and I know that you change people's lives. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to just get out there and overcome this massive issue that I had.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And a few things you said that resonated with me as well, because I remember my first business was not me as the personal brand or me and my story out there. I very much hid behind the brand that I had, and no one really knew who I was or my story. So I think that will resonate that we hide behind the business as well.
Yes.
And a really interesting thing you mentioned around more about the impact and the money. Like, I truly believe when you the money will always follow.
Yeah, and like I said, it just, the money side of it just wasn't even on my radar. I didn't even, you know, that just didn't come into my mind because of the social values. It was about that increase in social values, increase in impact. I mean, obviously I've had to run the charity as a business because I've been in the charity sector for years and years and years. And, you know, the model is about relying on external funding, so, you know, grants and things. And so every 2 or 3 years you're chasing money, you provide services, and then that funding pot's run out, so you've got to rebrand everything you do and change what you do. So when I set up Autism Matters for myself, I thought, right, I am going to do a model that is actually based on business, that is a chargeable services, so that when we create something wonderful, it stays there. We don't have to go back and try and find more money because we don't fit that criteria or whatever. So it was always set up as a paid for service, always, right from the beginning, so that we could pay staff. We weren't relying on volunteers. So for me, it was just about breaking even. It was always about, you know, if I got enough money to cover everything I charge, what will break even for the expenses. But that's all changed now, completely changed, because, well, you know, breaking even is not a good model for sustainability. Yes, you can provide services, but if you don't adopt a profit first model, then, you know, you're not going to have any backup plan, you know. So if things go wrong, like a pandemic hitting, then, you know, you have no backup whatsoever. And I've seen so many charities in my area across the UK just gone because of what's happened globally. And we haven't just survived, we have absolutely thrived because of the work I've done with you. And really can't thank you enough for that, because that mindset is really, really impacted everything I do, really has.
Thank you for sharing that. And how, so you joined the academy, and that's obviously, you know, you're raising that and the transformations that you've had. What happened? What transformed?
Okay, so the visibility one was the biggest thing for me, absolutely no doubt. I was so frightened of getting out there. And the work that I did in that module, I found so much resistance to it because I just really was terrified. And actually for a couple of weeks, I wouldn't go online and do it. I was just, I was frightened to do it. And then I put my big girl pants on and I thought, no, I'm going to do this. I've got to overcome this because I knew this was my biggest problem. And worked through the modules, and having the support from the group there as well really helped, because you see wins and you see people just like you stuck in the same, you know, in the same rut really. So seeing how other members of the group were really becoming more visible, making a commitment to myself to do that and doing the deep work. You know, I uncovered some things that were hidden, like completely hidden in the back of my mind, that I'd gotten rid of and didn't ever want to face again and just forgotten about. So doing that work made me see that the stuff that I was hiding was about childhood stuff. It was about, you know, stuff that beliefs I'd formed when I was like 8 years old that I'd carried with me forever, that it really wasn't safe to be seen at all. And so when I tackled those issues, my outlook changed completely. And I became like the visibility queen overnight. And I started posting every day, but talking about the issues that I had as well, not just overcoming them, but actually telling my story. And that was amazing, because people really responded, and I didn't know how people were going to respond, but I got a massive amount of support from the community that I was in. And people were seeing me as a leader. And yes, I was a leader, but I didn't feel like one. And people were asking me and talking to me and wanting to interview me, and, you know, all of this stuff that would have been like, I literally would have just stayed in bed because I couldn't deal with that. I was just tackling, and yeah, it was tough. I'm not saying it wasn't tough, because it was. A couple of times I thought, oh, I really can't do this. But I got on and I did it, and I thought, this is a block I've got to work through it. And those modules, you know, it's not just a 1 week of this information, it's like 6 weeks of working through it. Like the letter writing and things that I did to myself. I was in tears most of the time working through this, because it was so emotional work, because it's really deep stuff. And it brought back memories that I'd buried, that I needed to face. And just massive, massive, massive shifts in my mindset.
You know, that is important for anyone watching who's thinking about doing the Ultimate Uplevel Academy. It's not fluffy mindset. It's really deep transformation.
It is.
And
Yeah.
but the results are crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
it is amazing. And I didn't realize kind of when I was doing that, the impact it had. So as I joined up for the full academy, I wanted to work through it all, because I knew I had issues in all of the areas. And some of them I thought, I don't think I've learned anything, or I don't think I've shifted in this. But actually the power is when you put all of those 4 modules together. And you might not think, but they're all kind of interrelated. And some of the work you're doing in one really impacts the other. So I think as you're moving through, you kind of dealt with a lot of the stuff already, you know, and it's like the next layer down each time you go through these different modules. And I've actually signed up to come back into it, because some of them I thought, these I've got rid of the first few layers, and there's still stuff there that comes back. I always thought therapy was about you go in and you solve the problem and then everything's perfect. I had this very unrealistic idea. Yeah.
And then it's one and then it's not like that.
No, absolutely not. It's always the next level, and you can work on the next level, and that's what I've come back into it for, because I know there are more layers I can reveal, and there's more work I can do. And now my impact is massive. I've got people from all over the country now signing up to what we do. So I'm not just a little local charity anymore. I'm going to UK charity, which is just unbelievable. And I know that could be bigger. Yeah, I've gone from here to there, and now there's even more I can do. So it's, you know, I didn't think I would be able to do what I'm doing now a year ago. But now I've got bigger plans, and I didn't, you know, I'd never even thought those plans were possible for me, but I'm embracing it, and I'm going to the next level again. So it's fabulous.
You went from, as you mentioned, like unseen, as I will say in my social media post, unseen to visibility queen, and that's exactly. And
it's in there somewhere. I must remember that phrase.
obviously that took your business national rather than
Yeah.
local it was before. And what sort of financial impact?
Wow. Well, last month we had the biggest month of income ever. So we made 58k last month, which is just phenomenal. I've never known anything like it.
And we do have to point out that this is at a time when most charities have flat numbers,
Yeah.
any business, any support, any finances at all. So,
Yeah. Natasha, most charities now are just starting to open their doors again after a year in lockdown. You know, within 2 weeks, we pivoted and we went online. And because of this academy, I introduced new services. I got all my back office stuff right. I did a new operation manual, so I had everything ready. This year, we're franchising our model. We're going to be opening up in different locations across the UK. We've been collaborating with a software company and have designed with autistic adults a virtual reality diagnostic tool. So honestly, there's just so much work we've done that's going to have not just UK but global impact. And it's all because I believe in myself.
it's like, this is just the start. Like, it's amazing now, but I know this is like literally the tiny spark of even more massive growth for you. How do you feel about you now after going through all of that?
Well, I think I would say the word acceptance. So as part of this process, I've looked at myself and I've accepted myself for who I am, warts and all. I actually myself have gone through the autism quotient and I score really high. So I think my genius zone is because I am probably autistic myself. So this has been, I've felt different for most of my life. And although I haven't been diagnosed, the more work I'm doing on myself, the more I realise that a lot of the issues I've had are because I've felt like an outcast and I've felt different for a long, long time. And, you know, there are definitely traits there that you would, if I went for a diagnosis, I think I'd pretty much get a diagnosis. I have no need to do that because I accept that I think differently. I accept now and know now that I am a change maker. I know I am here to make a difference in the world. And I now do not care what other people think about me. That is not holding me back and stopping me from doing what I do. I was in a double page spread this weekend in Yours magazine, talking about who I am. And again, a year ago, not just me, my husband would have been terrified by that. He hates publicity. He just does not want to ever draw attention to us as a family. And he read the magazine. He went, "Oh, Anna, well done. That's amazing. I'm so proud of you." I've never heard that from him ever. So that blew me away, absolutely blew me away, that it wasn't like, "Oh, don't tell anybody." He said, "Get that on Facebook and show the whole world what you're doing." That is, yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. But isn't it interesting how the people around us change when we change?
Yeah, it's not just business that this improves, it's everything, it's every aspect of your life. My relationships at work have improved dramatically. My relationships with my children, my husband, my husband's family, it's just a massive ripple effect. And I think the Leading with Love module was the pivotal moment for that. That was about accepting people as they are, and kind of seeing, I think humans have a default negative setting. I think we see negativity and we criticize people a lot. And I think I was stuck in that a little bit. And I think the Leading with Love module made me realize where I was stuck with that. So instead of seeing the negatives, I was seeing much more positivity about people and accepting them for the way they are, not expecting them to be perfect. Because my drive for perfection within me was really, really getting in the way of all of that. And if anyone else around me didn't do it the way I wanted it done or the way I thought it should be done, then inside, I don't think I would ever verbally criticize somebody. I would never say that to their face, but inside I was thinking, oh, get it right. Why can't you do it this way? This is the way it should be done. And that Leading with Love really changed that around for me. So accepting people faults as they are, or that they're doing, they have issues too, and that accepting people was really, really important for me. And that Leading with Love really changed things around. And sometimes people take advantage of you when you lead with love, but if you set your boundaries, then you actually leading with love is loving yourself too, and saying, this is where my mark is. I adore people around me. I'm going to always have a positive attitude with people, but I set my boundaries now, and people know how far they can go with me. Yeah.
Boundaries is obviously the essential action to go alongside all of that deep inner work we do in Leading with Love. But lots of people in transformational sessions, they really struggle with boundaries, definitely. Well, thank you for sharing all of that with us. It's amazing seeing. Literally, like I said, I had goosebumps earlier, and just so not just with the transformation of you, but how that's going to ripple out now onto everyone you work with charity and individual business as well. What's different about the academy? Because lots of people come into it, they've already done it before, they've maybe had therapy or different types of healing. What do you think was different about it for you? Because a lot of transformation happens in a really short space of time, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think the intensity of the work. This isn't just top level stuff. It's not surface, not scratching the surface. This is really deep work, and going into it, you have to commit to doing the modules. And at some point in time, it was so much work because I'd got behind for a couple of weeks. And it was really difficult sometimes to get all the modules done. So you can't sugarcoat it, that you've got to go into this knowing the amount of work that is going to take place. And I think the support from the Facebook group, particularly, other people saying the same things that I was thinking, felt safe to then voice that. And the support that we got from yourself, there was always the drop-ins, and that was really important. Being able to put those questions out there, get those questions answered. It was really, really deep work. I think that's what's really, it's nothing like I've ever experienced before. You can do these 5-day challenges and it scratches the surface. And I've spent loads of money on different things and not felt like I've transformed, like I've just scratched the surface. This was like, I feel now I am a completely different person to who I was a year ago. But it's not me feeling it's like that. It's the feedback I get from the people around me. Everybody has noticed the difference in me, and the positive feedback. I mean, I have had a little bit of negativity, but I'm not bothered. because I impact so many people now. And a bit of negativity used to, you know, make me stay indoors for a week. Now I don't do that. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And to anyone who's thinking of potentially joining, what might you say to them?
Do it now. Do it now. It's you can sit around on the fence for a while like I did, just watching, but you listen to the people who've gone through it, because it is transformational work, absolutely transformational work. And for some people it's instant, and I saw that in the academy. There were people who were having immediate wins and you know, really up leveling immediately. For me, it was more of a drip effect. It was things built up, and I would think about it for quite a while. I would do that work. I would go back and reflect on what I'd done. And then it would sink in and it would start really taking effect. And it was, I think it was slower, whether it was, that was because I'm a bit older, I don't know, but, or just because of who I am. But yes, it's built up and built up until, you know, I started this last August. This April, I've had the best month ever. So some of the income didn't change for quite a while. It didn't change, but the income is like month on month now. It's just increasing. The amount of people that we're reaching is increasing. You know, we're doubling the members. My vision board now is, you know, I've wiped it for this year because I'm having to reset it. I've just surpassed everything I wanted to do this year. And it's only May. So yeah, it's for me, drip. Yeah.
Thank you. And for anyone who wants to find out more about you and what you do, where can they find you?
Well, they can find me, just do a Google search for Autism Matters, Anna Taylor, and you will find PR articles, you'll find live videos, you'll find all sorts of stuff that you wouldn't have found a year ago.
Thank you. And for anyone who's thinking that they're interested in the Ultimate Uplevel Academy, you can just get in touch and I'll let you know about the next enrollment date. So that's it from us. Thank you for listening, and thank you.
Thank you.